So yeah, here's another Star Wars novel review. I've been getting a lot, as you can tell, with of course Force Awakens and all that. You guys have clearly seen for the past few videos that it's clearly reignited my love for Star Wars, which has long since been dormant. But yeah, as of recently, it's just been like out like a wildfire, and I've been really getting to the. I have to admit that, you know, I've been reading a lot of the new Star Wars novels coming out of Legends and a lot of the Disney line. And they're really good. There's been some... Well, Dark Disciple I have some misgivings about, but it's not terrible. And this... Speaking of not terrible stories, this is one of them. Star Wars Lords of the Sith. What is Lords of the Sith? A badass book that I highly recommend you go out and read right goddamn now. Seriously. I cannot tell you guys how awesome this novel is, because this proves not only how awesome Vader is, and trust me, we know how badass Vader is, but this reminds us how badass the Emperor is. This book is astonishing. It really is. The plot is pretty much that Vader and Palpatine have pretty much the Imperial operations on Ryloth have been, for lack of a better word, been really cutting down because of the Free Ryloth movement. You guys remember that? The Free Ryloth movement, where the Twi'lek Cham Syndulla has he's gone from fighting separatists and Republic occupation. Now he's fighting Imperial occupation, and yeah, they've been fighting for a while just for a free Ryloth. So yeah, they're rebels, but they really don't give a shit about the other planets. They just care about Ryloth. And Vader and the Emperor go down there to bait the Free Ryloth movement. What happens is the Twi'lek rebels crash and strand Vader and the Emperor on Ryloth away from the Empire, and they only can depend on themselves and the Force to fight their way out of it. Now, this book is full of action right out of the gate. It is so full of action. You see Vader in here brutally killing people. That's the thing. Vader does what he does best. You get Force lightning from Palpatine. You get, you get so much, it's really hard to tell. There are just some really badass moments in this book. And again, it really shows the dichotomy between Vader and the Emperor, where Vader kind of just, Vader, all he has really left is the Emperor. And not, he does want to overthrow the Emperor. It's clearly shown in this book that, yeah, he wants to throw over the Emperor, but really, Palpatine's all he has left. And they do make a lot of references to the Clone Wars. I mean, obviously with Cham Syndulla. Also, I forgot to mention that Cham, of course, is the father of Hera Syndulla. So this is a nice little bridge for Clone Wars and Rebels. So I think it's a nice little medium ground there. But obviously this takes long before Rebels begins. The story is, you do see that Vader and the Emperor kind of are like, yeah, we're kind of just stuck out here by ourselves, and we're gonna kick some ass. So they're fighting rebellion, they're fighting Twi'lek terrorists. They are terrorists, even though as much as they say freedom fighter, and as much as Cham keeps saying it to himself, not a terrorist, but a freedom fighter, they're terrorists. They are straight up terrorists. And yeah, this kind of shows on the other end of the, this doesn't glorify the Empire. This doesn't say, oh, Empire good, Rebels bad. It kind of shows that both sides are pretty shitty. Because what the Twi'leks do is pretty bad. Like, they don't seem to care that, these peoples have, these Imperial soldiers have families and other lives. They're actually, when they destroy a Star Destroyer, they pretty much are like, yeah, we look at all those look at all those Imperials burn and all that, and they're actually kind of happy about it. You even have one character named Ishval, who is, I guess, is Cham's second in command / I guess you'd say love interest, and she's completely messed up. And you kind of understand from her point of view, because she was a Twi'lek prostitute and was, sexually abused and physically abused by the Empire for years since she was a child. And, years since she was a young girl. And now she's not only become like this overly aggressive, just violent sort of character. She's also become a serial killer of the of Imperial soldiers. And she keeps saying, yeah, what I'm doing is good. It isn't, for the Free Ryloth movement, but it's making me feel better. Yeah. So that's kind of the thing. I really don't want to spoil a lot in this book, but, this is just a full-on action story. This is there are some points where you're just like, I gotta take a break, guys. Oh man, it's kind of like when you're watching The Raid or Dread or some other high-octane action film where it's just action, 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 and you just have to pause real quick and just go, okay, I need a break, guys. I need a quick break. So you have to really look at it like that, where they're just like, oh god, guys, time out, time out. But I'm not saying that as it doesn't hurt the book. It's not even hardly a criticism. I like action in Star Wars, and I love it when it's the Sith that are doing all the ass kicking. And trust me, the ass kicking commences hard with Vader and Palpatine, because it's when it's just Vader and Palpatine out there in this harsh condition, because Ryloth is not a place you want to be left at. It's it's hot, it's mountainous, and there's even some dense jungles, and there's some insectoid creatures that would love nothing more than to eat you. So Vader and Palpatine, no royal guards, no, just themselves. They just need to depend on each other. And even then, Vader's like, I could kill him, or, Sidious could just be like, I can kill you and save myself. So they're even against each other in some ways, but, like I said, they really just, this really plays into the whole ancient order of the rule of two. And they even explain kind of more of what... I really like the, how Vader in his head kind of just thinks over how the rule of two works and how the master and apprentice relationship goes. I'll kind of explain it here. More or less is that how they kind of delve into this, into the rule of two, is that the apprentice is to be loyal to the master to an extent. And the master is supposed to teach his apprentice everything he knows, and then he can, the apprentice can graduate to being a master after killing him. So you have to look at it like that, and, however, if the apprentice is not loyal to him, then the master has all rights to kill him. But if the master does not tell him or teach his apprentice, his or her apprentice, everything he or she knows, then the apprentice has everything in his right to scheme and, undermine his apprentice, his or her master, and take his or her place as the master and take their own apprentice. So I like that they kind of, there are, even though the rule of two is kind of a hard thing to follow. Not really, but what I mean is, the Sith are bad people. Yeah, let's not cloud that, and it's clearly shown here that, Empire's still bad. But it's shown here in here that, there are guidelines and rules to the rule of two. And I like that. That also, not that it kind of shows that Sidious technically had, he's had 3 apprentices. But yeah, this is just an awesome book, and there is another character in here that I want to bring up called Belcor Dre. He is a colonel in the Empire, and he's more or less, at first, he's working with the Free Ryloth movement to undermine the governor, the Moff, basically, of Ryloth, and take her place. Because she is I kind of imagine what she looks like is a Star Wars version of Granny Goodness, just facially, I mean. So you have that going for this character, and Belcor is working with Cham and the others, and but he doesn't want the topple the Empire. He doesn't give a shit about the Ryloth movement. He just believes they're a means to an end. But then they just turn it all out from under him, and pretty much yeah, we've been recording every meeting, and we can have all of this go back to you, and there's not a damn thing that you can do. He even feels bad that when he finds out that the Star Destroyer they're attacking has Vader and the Emperor on it, which he did not know, and he's clearly upset about that, because he didn't want the Empire to follow. He was just kind of like Starscream, because he doesn't seem to think this shit out. But yeah, in one side you're like, yeah, Belcor, you had this coming because you're working with the bad guys for your own gain. But on the other hand, you're like, I feel bad for you, Belcor, because, you know, the boss you're working for is really shitty, but, yeah, you know... It doesn't... like I said, you know, this novel... Like I said, there are no good and evil. Because even the good guys, the Free Ryloth movement, they have some, you know, there's some terrible people on that group too, who just want to kill Imperials and have, you know, and have fun doing it. And whereas Cham keeps saying to himself, not a terrorist, but a freedom fighter, but he can't, you know, you can clearly tell that he's been fighting so long since the Clone Wars that he can't really, no matter, even if they do free Ryloth, by some miracle, there's no way he can, you know, go back to civilian life, and that really sucks. So, again, I highly recommend this novel. I really recommend Lords of the Sith. Such a freaking awesome book. If you love Vader, if you love Sidious, if you just love watching Empire and Sith stuff, trust me, you're going to love this book. Anyway, so, once again, hope you all enjoyed this little review, and I will see you guys later.